So, hey guys, this is Atharva, and I'll be starting a YouTube channel in which I'll be explaining both AP and macro content, and I'll be having one short lectures on each and every topic. I guess there are about 12 topics, 12 chapters, and I guess I really think that you should look into more of my channel. This is the first video. So, hello everyone, nice to meet you. I'm Atharva Modani, and we will be starting with our AP YouTube videos, one shot about, I think it should get over in 12 hours. And I hope you're able to finish it in 12 hours. It's pretty conceptual. So, starting with what is economics? It is basically very simple. So, economics is a social science. It is a social science that you could just use when or whenever you're doing something. The social science on how resources are used. Basically, it is not about money, it's not about capital, it's about how resources are used to produce other thing. It is how to produce other things. It's simple and simple. There's types of economics. One of them is micro and macro. As you're giving the examination, it's very important to know about the differentiation between micro and macro. Micro is about individuals. It focuses on how individuals spend their money, how individuals do stuff. Okay, nothing large, somehow individual firms might do stuff. But macroeconomics is based on the whole nation, how the nation uses its resources, what is the defense, what is the defense budget, why it is going to defense. It's all about macro, macro, big, micro, short, small, short small, right? Simple as that. Then we hop on to the next, next classification, that's positive and normative. What is positive? It is basically a scientific view at what is going on in economics. For example, it can be tried and tested. This is one way that I remember it. Positive means something that is plus. Plus is something that is on science part, mathematics part. So that's how I remember positive economics. And we have normative economics. Normative economics is as simple as it is. It's like a belief. It is what you believe in. Okay? It is like it is a judgment. It cannot be tried and tested like scientific, positive economics. For example, you think about that using the resources in space is more important than children's education. The government should spend more on space than on education. That's your opinion. It is a belief. It is a judgment, right? Unlike positive economics. In positive economics, you can actually test out. For example, one family's income is increased, okay? The spending will also increase. That's what you're trying to find out. Will the spending also increase? So you can test it out. For example, if you increase the family's income by 20% and they only spend 10%, that means that they're saving 10%. This is something that can be tested out. You're testing it. This is positive economics. All right, as simple. Then we have some basic terms of economics. You have resources. What is resource? All right, this is a resource. This is an educational resource that you're using to produce what? To produce better grades at your AP exam. All right, as simple. Three types. There's land. Okay, there's three types of resources in macroeconomics. There's land, there's labor, and there's capital. There's also a fourth type, that is, entrepreneurship. This is a very common type. It's not given over there, but just remember for namesakes. There's land. What is land? Land is also why I build my factory over here. That's land. No, that's just not it. That's like, it's a small definition of land. In economics, it's any natural resource that you use from the earth. Any natural resource. And secondly, you have labor. What is labor, you might ask? Labor is all the human efforts that you put into it. For example, your workers are working, you have employed a sales staff, you have employed a manager, you have employed the accounting staff. That is all including in labor. For example, you can also take the laborers that work in the factory. You can take farmers. For example, you are a landowner, you have farmers working on your factory, all right? Then you have capital. What is capital? Capital is that the money that I put in? Yes, it's the money that I put in, but it's a different form of money. You use what do you put in the money for? You put it for machinery, you put it for equipment. You got that? You put it for equipment. It's pretty easy, you know. What is equipment? Anything that you can use to produce something. For example, I want to convert my potato. I want to convert my potato potato into a potato chips. All right. So for that, what do I need? Potato, my bad, potato to chips. It's pretty simple. I need a machine. That's what. You need a machine to make it. The machine will help you build it. You could put the potato in, you can put chips on the other side. Then the second important concept is opportunity cost. Seems very simple. Opportunity. Opportunity is something else that you could do. You know, it is something you could do, something that you have presented, something you have presented, right? What is cost? Something you pay. Okay. Okay. Then what next? So it is basically what you sacrifice to get another thing. To get another thing. For example, if you get $10 worth of chips and you're budgeted $10, you cannot get for the same $10, you cannot get what seems to be soft drinks. You get chips, you cannot get soft drinks. Soft drinks are your opportunity cost, and $10 is your actual cost. Right? Simple. I've also given another example that's $100. You can either spend it on books, you can either spend it on Nintendo. You get a Nintendo, your opportunity cost is also getting books. You don't go to college, you're not studying, you're instead playing games. So your opportunity cost to play games is not studying, right? Not studying, but likewise, I can see that you're studying over here. Then we have production possibility curve. So production possibility curve, or you can say, oh, frontier, right? So it's pretty simple. It's a very simple concept. This is a graph. This is a line. There are two things that you have produced. For example, you're producing cookies and you're producing pencils. Cookies and producing pencils. It's a pretty simple. You can refer to this table too. This is, for example, a production PPT. This is a production possibilities table. This is not a PowerPoint presentation. This is a production possibilities table. Okay, quite simple. Now you can see you produce 10 cookies, you can produce no pencils. Your opportunity cost is, for example, right now it's one pencil per cookie. That's why you can produce 10 cookies at max, or you can produce 10 pencils. So 10 pencils equals to 10 cookies, one pencil per cookie, one pencil per cookie. That is your opportunity cost. You can also actually calculate. This is just the graph that you graph, okay, for your production possibilities. What is opportunity cost? It is change in the amount of cookies and change in the amount. For example, this is a opportunity cost for pencils. Okay, it is for the pencils. Pretty simple. For example, the change in pencils is over here. As you can see, you get three pencils, but you also give up three cookies. When you give up three cookies, you have three over here. You have three over here. So the one cookie per pencil. For one pencil, you give up one cookie. For one pencil, you give up one cookie. This is a very quick lesson. If you're having doubts in anything, you could just hit me up on Instagram at Atharva Modani or Loki Adam Smith, or you could just write it on the comments. Next, you have PPF. What is PPF? You have the same thing, production possibilities frontier. Now you've got a line over here. You'll be thinking, oh yeah, if I'm an economy, I'll be producing on the line, right? Because this is the maximum I can produce. You're absolutely right on that. When you produce something, the production is on this line, that means you're on maximum efficiency. Anything inside the curve, like the X and Y point over here, this means that there is inefficiency in the economy. There's an inefficiency. The resources are not being produced properly. This is inefficiency. And anything outside is impossible to achieve unless there's changes or there's shift in a PPF. The whole PPF graph is shifting because of tech, change in tech or resources. You have more resources or less resources, all right? We got that. Anything on this graph is good. It is maximum efficiency. Anything inside is bad. It's like left is less. Why is left less? Because there's less efficiency. Left is less. There's no efficiency. There's less efficiency. All right. It's impossible to achieve anything that's outside the PFF because it's quite possible. You have a graph pay, you have this is the line, and if you have nothing on this line, it's pretty simple that you'll not be able to achieve it. All right. Then what will Atharva? It's very simple. What would make it go inside or outside? It's pretty simple. If you have more resources, it will go to the right side. Right is more, left is less. And if you have more technology, you have robots that are building your chips right now, you have got advanced machinery that uses each and every bit of a potato, you'll be producing more. You'll be having a better production possible frontier. Then likewise for, let's say, cookies. Your robots are producing cookies better than your labor. So now you can produce more cookies because you have more resources and tech, right? More resource and technology. Left is less. This is a very important concept. Anywhere you go and the graph shifts to the left, that means there's something that says. For example, in the upcoming videos, we'll be studying about you know, supply and demand, supply and demand, supply and demand is pretty simple. Anything that moves to the left is just bad. Left is bad. Left is bad. Left is less. Okay? Basic concepts, left is less. Then we have law of increasing cost. You'll be thinking about it's, what is law of increasing cost? It's nothing much. Law of increasing cost basically means when you produce more of something, the the cost will also increase. Product, the more the product, the more the cost. It seems pretty simple. More the product, more the cost. And why is that? Because, for example, you have 10 farmers working at your organization, okay? And you have 10 engineers. The engineers will be easily able to produce guns, all right? But the farmers will be easily able to produce butter. Right? Seen simple, 10 farmers can produce butter, 10 engineers produce gun. But what if you want more guns? If you want more guns, you'll switch to the farmers and you'll ask farmers to make guns. But that's not possible, no? But even if they, for example, give them some groundwork, so the cost will increase. You'll have like two extra guns at the cost of 10 pieces of chips or cookies, whatever they were producing, okay? That's all. Because only farmers cannot produce a lot of guns. They'll be only producing two extra guns at the cost of 10 cookies. There is an increasing opportunity cost. You got my point, right? You got my point. It's pretty simple. I'm going really quick, keeping it simple for you. So when you produce more, you require more resources. You have resources for guns. You don't have resources for butter. But you're asking, you can produce 10 guns at good efficient at all your resources, but you're now asking a farmer to use his land to produce guns. That's not possible, no, unless you have resources. That's why it will go more inefficient. It will go inefficient. Then there's something known as a comparative advantage. What is a comparative advantage, you might ask? We'll take this table. Okay, you can see this is the labor hours needed to produce 1 unit of wheat or cloth. Portugal takes 10 hours, and for cloth it takes 20. Whereas England takes 20 hours for wheat and 60 hours for cloth. You must be thinking, wow, this seems pretty one-sided. Portugal has the absolute advantage in both of them. That's right. Portugal has an absolute advantage, not the comparative advantage that is our topic. Absolute advantage is when you're better at both of them. That does not mean that it is you have a comparative advantage. It could mean, but not in most cases. For example, in this case, you could see you can calculate the opportunity cost for one cloth. The opportunity cost for Portugal for one cloth is, for example, 20 hours needed, right? 20 hours needed to produce one cloth and 10 hours needed to produce wheat. So the opportunity cost is two wheat, right? And for England, it is three wheat. So you can see Portugal has the advantage over here. But you will see that it does not have the advantage in wheat because however, it has an absolute advantage, it does not have a competitive advantage because the opportunity cost to produce 1 unit of wheat is half a cloth, which is greater than one third of a cloth required by England. So it is cheaper to produce wheat in England than it is to produce in Portugal. Now you'll be thinking, oh, that's all right. It still does not matter because the absolute advantage it was Portugal. That it matters because now they could trade. Why would they trade though? Portugal has the absolute advantage. The absolute advantage does not matter when you have to trade. You can see over here we have 120 hours. We'll give both countries 120 hours. So in 120 hours, what will happen? Portugal decides to produce 2 units of wheat and 5 units of cloth. Okay, 5 units of cloth. You can see 5 units of cloth it takes 100 and 2 units it takes 20. You can see over here. Just let me erase this five. I don't know. Right? This is 7 units. Portugal is producing and England is getting 4. So total amount of units produced are 11. Right? Now, for example, if England specializes in what its opportunity cost is less. That's why England has less opportunity cost in wheat. It produces only wheat. Portugal has less opportunity cost in cloth. It produces only cloth. So now you can see 12 units of production have been 12 units have been produced, whereas the 11 units that were being produced when both of them needed to satisfy their needs. Now you'll be seeing this one more extra unit that has happened even though Portugal had the absolute advantage in both. This is because how comparative advantage works, right? With trade now, for example, Portugal needs at least 2 units of wheat, right? Now it could get 2.5 units for one wheat. Now you'll be asking 2.5 units of wheat for one cloth. You'll be asking why will England agree to this trade? As you can see in the table above, just a second. As you can see in the table above, England was only getting 1 unit of cloth and only producing 3 wheat. But now they have 3.5 wheat. 3.5 wheat. They have zero point 0.5 extra. And Portugal also has zero point 0.5 extra of wheat. So both of them have benefited from this trade. That is why comparative advantage works and absolute advantage does not work most of the time. Right? I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope like and subscribe. I'll be posting more of the same quick sessions, 5 minutes to 10 minutes for each of them. Thank you.